Hey there, welcome to my third video about this new game that I've found, Automation Empire, where the objective of the game is to harvest, package, and ship resources from a planet up into space. I've unlocked rockets, which means my productivity is up to 22,000 kilograms every 3 months, and I'm in the home stretch. But how exactly do you use rockets? I'm Hive Tyrant 424. Stick around and I'll show you how I built mine and got my 45,000 kilogram medallion for the compact canyon planet in only 11 game years. Okay, so previously I showed you how to load up your trains. If you haven't seen it, by the way, you may want to head back to the last video and check out my train feeder system. Built properly, you can actually hit your 30,000 kg goal just using trains. But the rockets are so much fun, and you need them to get the 45,000 medallion. Remember, anything you ship with a rocket gives you a 45% bonus to the weight and the money you get paid. So you want to ship the heavy resources like gold plates, mega fuel. And to put it into perspective, one rocket holds 50 crates. Now let's say you're shipping mega fuel, which is what I go for every game. It weighs 16 kilograms per crate. In the train or on trucks, that's only 800 kilograms per 50 crates. In a rocket, that's 1,160 kilograms. The rockets load way faster than trains too, which, assuming you can keep them fed. So the first thing I have to do is get rid of my trucks. Now, I like having two offloading systems working at once. I'll use the better one or the more efficient one to ship my heaviest resource, like the mega fuel. And then I'll use the secondary system or the lesser one, in this case the trucks, and I'll use that to get rid of my surplus materials. It gives my productivity a little boost, and sometimes that's all it takes to get to the next level of research. And so far, I have found it impossible to offload everything using just one system. There's just too many resources on these maps. I always end up with surplus resources somewhere in my system. I absolutely love how you can demolish anything in this game that you've built and you get a full dollar refund for it. You lose the resources that are currently in the system that you delete, but that's okay. You should never have surplus or stockpile anyway. It doesn't really benefit you much. I'll just finish getting rid of this. This is why I don't like using claw trains if I can avoid them, because when I go to upgrade my system, I have to delete them all, and they're kind of a pain. Definitely need a mass delete button. Like delete everything connected to this thing that I click, sort of thing. So I gotta replace a power station and move some stuff around here. Get rid of those power lines. Oh, I need power up there. And I just killed power down here too. Oops. That looks cool. I like the way the power lines are all evenly spidered out there. Now, I could just use a power pole. I'm not exactly sure why I chose to go with a power station, but sure, okay. So now that I've cleared out my roads, I'm going to set up the rocket depot. I'm not going to be able to ship my mega fuel from this part of the system. I am making mega fuel, as you may have recalled from the last episode if you saw that. But I'm shipping that out via train because I'm producing it on the other side of the map, and I don't really feel like rebuilding my entire system. So I'm just going to bring in some coal and some iron to this first rocket depot, and I'm going to offload some steel plates. All the materials I need are nearby and plentiful, so I'll be able to keep the rockets launching. Remember, the further your supply trains have to travel, the more gaps you're going to find in your loading system, unless you've got a lot of surplus. And gaps are bad. That means inefficiency. So there are a couple of ways to load rockets. They all have to have crates loaded into them. That's the one downside to rockets. You have to load them with actual crates. So you have to have crate makers somewhere filling material into the crates and then getting those loaded crates out to the rockets. So what I've done is I've set up a line of crate makers. This is my go-to when I don't really care about efficiency. I'm just trying to move material. And so I've got just one crate maker connected to an unload line, And each of those crate makers is going to be fed directly from the output of one of these combiners. As you can see, I've got a lot of them. I like big combiner factories. And again, I'm using the remote connectors here because as long as you have the color coding system organized, like I do here, I always use green for my output, orange for my first input, which I always put on the left-hand side of the combiner, and blue for my secondary ingredient, which I always put on the right side of the combiner. When you use these remote connectors, and you don't have to have containers, clogging up your works. You can just one square remote connector as opposed to a 3x3 for even a small bin. Like, kind of makes sense, right? I do have bins in the back, a green bin in the back there to pick up any excess. Now, I'm not sure which of these two systems is going to be more efficient, whether it's going to be... I've been wondering this for a while, so I'm going to test it out in game here. One of my go-to... as I say, I think it's an inefficient system of loading and crating, but I'm going to try this and see which one actually puts more loaded crates at the end of the line for my drones. I am going to use drones here. I'm not convinced that I have the claw train system figured out well enough to actually be efficient. I'm still working on that. So I'm just going to let the system charge up. And this isn't going to give you a huge productivity boost, just so you know, not having anything loading, just filling up your unload lines like this. This doesn't give you a massive productivity boost. It gives you a little bit. But the game measures your productivity over a 3-month period, not just your immediate output. So stockpiling a bunch of resources and then just loading them all up at once isn't really going to help you all that much. But what's more important is, first of all, I get to see the crate loading systems, which one is actually more efficient. And in this case, it does turn out that the 4 crate makers in the back feeding that single unload line is actually loading more crates than individual crate makers connected directly to the outputs. And as you can see, the bin of my surplus steel plates in the back there is almost full, and it only took a few seconds. Like, it's crazy the efficiency you get by using those remote connectors in your combiners. So now we'll set up a few rocket pads here. This is not going to be my primary unload. Again, as I said, this is just going to be to get rid of surplus materials, but it's also giving me the opportunity to learn more about better ways to build, more efficient ways to build. So I've charged the system. Now I'm going to get all the unload belts are going to be accessible by the drones. That's why I made so many doors. And I'm going to have to use a lot of drones to clear this out, but then I'm going to cut back the workforce to a much more manageable level. If you don't know this, the more drones you have, the better the chances are you're going to have a bottleneck and they're going to run into each other. And they do actually get in each other's way. The little buggers just can't seem to coordinate. And there's no way to direct their pathing, so I'm going to speed the drones up. Oops. Okay. So, as you can see, they're motoring. Look at them go. But again, as you can see, too many drones, they're getting in each other's way. It's annoying, and it does create inefficiencies. There will be gaps in service because of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just kill a few here. Don't worry, no drones were actually harmed. They all got a good pink slip, good severance package. I promise. So the 4 crate maker system is definitely better than having 1 crate maker attached to the outputs. That is very clear. You can see up in the top of the production factory there that that line is just packed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale this back here and have the drones a little bit more focused, so they're only picking up from the lines that lead to the rockets. And then I'm going to use claw trains to transfer crates from the inactive lines to the active drone lines. And there we go. 30,000 kilograms in 3 months in the September year 10. So next episode, I'm going to show you how to build the rocket depot on the other side of my map without having to tear this one down. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to hit that like button below. Also, if you want to stay updated with new videos as I upload them, don't forget to subscribe. See you later.